I've got a coffee and a tea.
3 drinks at a time. 1, 2, hydrate. I can't even remember how it goes.
No, I'm ridiculous. I usually have 3. I have a hot drink, I have a cold drink, and I have water.
Oh my sister was like that whenever we would go out to dinner, my parents would be like, "You only are allowed 1 beverage," because she would just, you know? Yep, that's where they get you at those expensive drinks.
No
Good
kidding.
morning, Sophie.
Good morning, everyone. Hello.
Morning.
Hello. Erin is here.
Hello. Hello,
Oh, yeah, I
family.
gotta like my smudge.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know my other lighter one. I'm gonna use my don't fuck around lighter this morning. It's the full moon. We need the seriousness today.
Right? Oh my goodness, of course.
And it's in Sagittarius. No offense to
This is my very serious lighter. I have to keep this one.
Right?
Well, I have a Sag rising. This is my very serious lighter. It's not as serious as yours. But I have to hide it because it does not have a child lock on it, so it has to stay hidden.
I'm supposed to be, but I broke it off because I'm a child.
You are the child.
I always take the safety off all my lighters. I'm ridiculous.
You're like, this
Good
is too
morning,
difficult.
welcome. Wade says, you, the teacher, becomes the student to become the ascended master. Hello, Wade. Getting all philosophical this morning, are we? Hi, Ray. Hi, Donna. Hi, Sharice. Hi, Lori. Hi, Tom. Hi, Marissa.
Just
hi,
right on time, Lori.
Yesterday was all kinds of fuckery. That's why I wasn't around. Yesterday, I should have just gone back to bed. It was one of those days where everything was just not cooperating.
I can appreciate
today's a new day. Things are better today.
Yeah, huzzah. Thank goodness. The sun rises every day.
Doesn't it, though? So what have you been up to, Miss Erin?
What have I been up to? Well, I took your SRT training, Mama. That was amazing.
Oh, that's
that's like what have I been up to? That is like the biggest thing that I've done recently. Very, very thorough, so juicy, so fun to be present for like 4.5 hours. Like time flew. Why you couldn't even like tell that it had, and there's so much information. It really expanded my, I've been doing SRT for 12 years in my own way, and now I have this whole like huge expansion. And I don't know if she told you, but on Saturday night I had a repeat dream. Session with cat. Merlin needs to talk to you. Merlin needs to talk to you. I was like, okay. Like, it wouldn't leave me alone. I woke up in the morning. I was like, okay. I like messaged her like first.
Merlin does love dragons, after all.
I figured. I had a feeling it had something to do with Rumara. And sure, me. It's me.
Maybe you both have got an attunement coming. Who knows? Merlin's attunements are amazing.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, lots of, and also I've been experiencing, and I think that Kat has something to do with it because of what I've learned of how Merlin's energy, not him, but his energy has been used against humanity in some ways, like inverted, right? And so learning that
there's a lot of false light to pretend that there's someone else. And Merlin has actually commented on it that there's a lot of fake Merlins out there. But there's a lot of people that are connected to the real Merlin because of his very it's a special vibration. And if you have that special vibration, you're able to connect to him because he's not quite an earth seed. He's also galactic as well. He's both.
Right. He's cosmic.
He's a galactic that's been here a really long fucking time.
Right. Right. Yeah. Hi, Ariana. Hi, everybody.
Nice to
Yeah,
see
so
her.
I'm really looking forward to that. I'm like, "Okay, let's make this happen," you know? And, and it's just fun to also just develop, you know? Like, I haven't taken a class in a long time. I've been in teacher mode, and I'm always learning, right? I'm always learning new things, but taking a training is just so good for the soul, especially spiritually based training, you know? And just well done. Thank you. You're such a wonderful teacher. Thank you, sister. Yeah,
I really
yeah.
appreciate you saying that.
I'm
Thank you.
happy to
So
be part of the team. Yeah,
it's gonna
and I
be
had
exciting. Just getting started.
that's right, yeah. Building the army of light, you know? I don't necessarily like to use words like army and war, but hey,
Oh, it is. It's
it
accurate.
is.
It
I'm
is.
calling
It's
it a spiritual kerfuffle. I am preferring the word kerfuffle these days because it's just a little bit more gentle, you know? And like, how many wars do we have to live through? You know, it's like, no, we're actually
honestly though, it's like the same. You know how in the Matrix it says that at the very end when Neo is talking to the architect and he's like, "Oh, you've already been through this like 5 times. It's
Mhm,
just it
mhm.
recycles itself. It repeats." That's
Right.
exactly what this is. This is the same
Yeah.
shit that was happening 2,000 years ago, probably 12,000 years ago. It just repeats in cycles, and now it's almost like we've come to this pinnacle point where we're like, we're done with the repeat. We're done with the cycles. We're not playing this game anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Catherine. I think it's the light. Mm. Um, yeah, I actually do you mind if we talk about, uh, past life discovery about the 2 of
Talk about
us?
whatever you'd like.
Because I think it's totally fascinating, and it feels like full circle almost, learning the SRT and kind of stepping up as an officer of the light, you know, in this big ass team, in this battalion, if you will, you know? Um, can you share what you experienced, in Scotland? In what you told me about the past life memory that came forward?
I had a okay. I had a triggered past life resonance. Can we tell the whole story?
Yeah.
Okay. So I
Because
had a
it's all
triggered
relevant because I had a thing right
yeah,
beforehand, so it's all like yeah, I just
all
love
right,
it.
yeah, well,
I think it's amazing.
well, it is a bit of a long story. I'll try and shorten it, but I had a triggered past life resonance when I was in Scotland, and I wasn't, I always am nosy. Like I don't just clear my own past life resonance. I'm like, ooh, what's this? Tell me more. Where did this happen? And they said that I was a Roman soldier and I was marching through Britain, and this was 2,000 years ago, 2,000 probably plus years ago. Back when the Romans were basically everywhere. And as a Roman soldier, I was a foot soldier, and there was a large battalion that was walking through a wooded area in Scotland, I believe, or southern Scotland. And I had a officer that was with us. He was on horseback, and I started basically complaining to the officer, saying, There's something off here. I don't like where we're heading. We need to turn around." And the officer's like, "Why?" And I said, "You don't, notice like there's no birds chirping, things. It just seems very dark. It's just too quiet. Just things seem really off." But the officer was following commands, and they were like, "No, we have a place we have to get to. This is where we're going." And I kept arguing with the officer, and he basically was like, "Shut up and keep moving." So instead of shutting up, because I can't help myself, I started complaining to the other soldiers and saying, "I'm telling you, aren't you noticing something is really off here?" And it really upset the officer, who found out that I wasn't shutting up. And in fact, I was even spreading, fear, as he put it. And he was like, "No, keep marching. You shut your mouth," that kind of thing. And I was like, "All right. As we kept marching through the forest, we got attacked majorly. There were men in blue and black war paint came down. You couldn't even see them until they were on you. That's how well camouflaged they were in such a dark forest. And they had these big nets. They were big, thick nets, and they threw them. They were very heavy. I remember how heavy it was as they're explaining it, because I had started having all these flashbacks as they're hearing all this. And these nets got thrown over everybody, and then they just started stabbing us with spears. And I was really pissed off at first, because I had a family that was waiting for me in Rome, and I had a wife and son that I love very much. And so I was pretty, pissed off that we got ambushed, I guess is the word. And the last thing I saw
your
was my
spidey senses had been going off like crazy. Like, why didn't you listen to me?
The last thing I saw was the officer racing over the hill on horseback as we were all dying. And then they said that the officer went and told the people, I did everything I could to save everybody. It's not my fault that this happened. And so they said there was a little bit of resentment, a bit of karma that I was trying to work out, trying to, forgive and the frustration of not being heard, but also, just I was upset that I didn't get to go home to my family from all of that. And so it did create a little bit of karma. And I didn't even think about it. I just said, who was the officer? And they said, oh, it was Erin Sunniva.
Oh my goodness.
I'm kidding.
So here's my part of the story. Also, like, I remember when you told me this and I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this happened 2,000 years ago. It's water under the bridge.
It's old news. Old news, So, Jessica, 2 months before that happened, I was singing in my room. It was in the evening, and I was playing with my looper and just just improvising and doing stuff myself. And all of a sudden, really I was going into what I was feeling a lot of anger at the time. And so I was just singing about being willing to go into my anger. And then this whole past life came up, and I saw myself as a commander, general or something, sending an entire battalion to their death. And them
got chills all over it.
All knowing that that's what was happening. And just this very much I know you're gonna die, but you are committed to me. You committed yourself to me. You follow orders. I follow orders. And you know what I mean? And so it was just it was actually a very cathartic. It's a very healing song to me. It was healing to sing and to work to continue working on it as well. And I didn't even realize it in the moment when you told me, right, that story. And then I think it was the next day, I'm like, oh my God, I already know about this. So, it's wait a second. Did we both, within a matter of months, have this, realization, this opening and this healing for both of ourselves?
See all the people getting chills in the comments. Maybe you guys were marching with us.
Oh my gosh. That would not be a surprise to me either. That wouldn't be a surprise to me. So then Sunday night, just this past Sunday night, when I would received everything. Oh, and after the training on Sunday, guides had me cleaning my house for 5 hours. I did not stop. As soon as the training was over, I was like, what? Energy blocked. We need to clean the house. All of the things.
That's what I did all day yesterday too. Yep. It really makes a difference when you start sweeping out the negative energy, the stagnant energy. Yep.
But I had this experience when I was just, sitting and resting, and I had taken my evening edible, which I hadn't had in a week or something. I was just, kind of cleansing, right? And I took it, and then I was just being in the energy of everything and feeling the humble healing of being an officer for you, Commander. In this life. You laugh, but it brings tears to my eyes because it's this feels perfect. It feels like a reorientation, right? And that we all get to show up and play our roles. You know what I mean? In a really good way, And I believe there are no hierarchies, but there are leaders. There are levels of leaders, right? And we all have our roles of support and leadership, wherever you are, right? And so I'm really glad that we're here together in this life and as a team, all of us, one big, huge family,
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that much.
Oh,
Thank you.
I love you.
Yeah. I
For
love you.
sharing that. And
Yeah.
I giggle about it, but I do kind of like, I understand why so many people are kind of organizing in the way that they are,
Mm,
like we have to. It's
yeah.
safety in numbers right now. And
Oh, yeah.
I've seen what happens when people try and do this work on their own and they get severely, savagely attacked by, bullied by the dark side.
I'm so
So,
glad to not be doing my work on my own anymore. I was
no.
definitely for so long, for years, for a very long time,
Yeah.
uh, of just like, who do I even turn to besides my dad, who, like, honestly, he doesn't get half of the shit that's going down right now. He doesn't get it. He's too
Things keep
old.
changing quickly.
It's like, and that it's just yes, safety in numbers. Yes, absolutely. And having people have your back, like, yeah, we can check you, or at the when something is happening and you just need someone to support you and reflect back to you that you're good, that you're
Yeah.
okay, that everything's okay. We need that, and how beautiful everyone is that's always um you know always in this community, that are a part of my community too, like, by default, right? And they're just so beautiful, so amazing. The people who come to Rumara's circle every week, it's also like a beautiful, tight-knit community. It's just wonderful, just wonderful. Yay, all the right people are showing up.
And it's funny, it's almost like these divine appointments are just organizing us for something bigger right now. Like we're just
Mhm.
creating this sturdy foundation right now, but eventually I feel that we will be making ripples that extend around the entire planet. Perhaps we
Yeah.
already are.
Oh, I'm sure we are. I'm sure we are. Ariana asked the question, did Erin's dad connect her with Terrence Palmer, or how did she find him? I did not find Terrence Palmer. Laura found Terrence Palmer. But he does show up in my sessions. Usually he's there, and Laura was the one that was like, "Oh, that's Terry." Cuz I don't know why, like, whenever there's an earthbound spirit, Terry is there. And so I would always be like, "What is this, Terrence? Ugh, get out of the way," And you'd be like, "Wait, Terrence? What do you mean Terrence is showing up?" Right?
There's a couple
And
mediums
so,
that he's been tuning up for, and they didn't even know who he was. And then
yeah.
they see his face later on. They're like, "Holy shit, I've been seeing that guy everywhere." And it's like, "Oh yeah, he is everywhere. He's
Oh,
just
yeah,
as
in the
busy
training,
as Dolores is right now."
when you showed his picture at the bookstore and he's, like, holding a book, I was like, "Oh." It was like, yes, I know that face. But when you, like, pointed that out, and then the next time he showed up, I was like, okay, Terry, yes, okay, all right, why are you here? I'm here to help connect the earthbound so that they can come home, so that when you're doing this work, make sure that they connect to you. So he's like the connector. He's in the spirit world, guiding the earthbounds to the people that are opening the light so that they can come home. That's what I
Well,
receive
that
from.
certainly resonates. It's Dr.
Yeah.
Palmer that really helped me to get the idea of creating the Lost Soul Rescue, because he would do that. He would have a group of about 6 to 8 mediums sitting in a big circle. They tune into a hospital, and the next thing you know, they're all channeling different earthbounds. They're talking to different things. It was the way that he first started doing it was quite different to how we do it, but it was still the same
Yeah.
idea of just going into a space and connecting with the earthbounds and crossing them over and communicating with them. But he didn't have as big of a team as we do now. In fact,
Mhm.
our team in the astral has probably quadrupled since his passing a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
probably have him to thank as well. He's probably recruiting on the other side right now.
I would not be surprised. Like, his presence is just, it's right there. And now whenever I see him, like, "Hey, Terry," it's like, "Hey, thanks for bringing him over." Yeah.
It's lovely though, because there's certain guides that I feel like they're always kind of keeping an eye over us. And
Mhm.
like the last few weeks that we've been doing clearings, and I find someone with a witch wound in their history where there's a past life resonance, a
Yeah.
trauma of being killed as a witch, whether they were burned or drowned or beaten or strangled. There's all kinds of different ways that witches have been killed. We have our beloved Galis Duncan that'll pop in and be like, hey, I'm here to support. She's
That's
the
great.
best. It's just, we're so blessed to have so many people on the other side that are very invested in what we're doing and want to help. So even if you're not physically incarnated, you can get involved. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if, like people like Terry and Galis are getting to know each other and kind of being like, hey, let's try this. Let's move this. Let's grow this,
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it's funny too because I'm also teaching SRT to my Magdalene mentees right now at the same time that I'm also learning your protocol. I'm teaching them the sort of hypnotherapeutic protocol that I've been using for 12 years. Um, so it's like, it's like, yes, there are multiple ways to do this work and be effective. And the way that I do it, I'm also teaching induction because it's like we're doing it with the client and Archangel Michael, right? So yeah, so it's like the team is working, it's just in a different way, and
Yeah.
so it's fun, it's fun to do that. Yeah.
Yes.
Good
We've got a
times,
lot
good
to look
times.
forward to,
Expansion.
especially with our retreat that's going to be coming up at the end of the summer.
Yes.
How
Yeah.
many ladies have we got signed up already? How many of us are going so far?
Right now there's 7 of us. We have space for 2 more.
Oh, how
Yeah.
exciting.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes. Exciting.
Get to do some in-person clearings, get to get some attunements and to clear some. I'm sure many of us have had well, the thing is, if you're drawn to something like this, you probably had history in that area, and to go and collect some soul fragments and to heal certain aspects of your subconscious. It's a powerful thing to do.
Yeah. And even like the first time that I went, I had all this stuff come up and I had like no resolution of it. I was like carrying the pain of massacre with me until we came back, and in Gerda's garden, I was like, okay, I'm going to put all this down. I'm putting this back into the earth. I've been carrying this for 8 years. I am over it, Yes, Vicky is coming. So excited.
Vicky's coming back. Lovely.
Yes. Yeah. So the land is really powerful there. It's ready to also help you heal whatever you've been, carrying. And it is also the land of dragons. So we're going to be working with the dragon lines, with the ley lines, learning how to read them, to listen to them, and ask them what they need, right? Because not all ley lines need healing. I think there's a human kind of ego that like, oh, we're here to fix things. Like, do you know how many people think that they're coming here to fix things? It's like, just be careful, right? With your ego, be humble.
It's like a white knight savior complex, because I don't know, it's the same thing. I've always been. I mean, I was a firefighter at 16. I mean, this is some mentality that you often come in here with this like, da, 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 I'm gonna save the day kind of attitude.
Yeah.
And then they like down a peg or two. And it's like, so who's gonna rescue you?
Right? That's a very good point. Very good point. Thank you, Charisse. There's the link there if you want to see the itinerary. I'm really excited to drop in deeper, to like also, we were in 3 different locations, when we were there, and which is great. And we're going to be in 2 different locations on the Mediterranean and in the Valley of the Cross, as it's called, where Rennes le Chateau is. And I mean, tens, a multitude of Magdalene sites, sacred sites.
Are we going there? We're going to be near Rennes le Bon, right?
I mean, we're going to be right there in the center, basically in the same vicinity where our villa was last time. We'll be in an even bigger villa with a swimming pool, and
Nice.
that's also on a farm. So there are animals that we can work with and visit as well, and will be really in the center of what is known as the pentagram of the Wrens. So this pentagram, it's literally a perfect 33-degree pentagram, of from Rennes-le-Château, Rennes-les-Bains, and 3 other sites that, and 2 of them aren't necessarily accessible because they're like pinnacles up at the top of the mountain. So, and also we're going to be going to Montségur this time, which holds the 12th Stargate. It is the crown chakra of the planet. So I'm really excited to spend a day there. And, if you love hiking, this one's for you. If you're not so much for hiking, you can anchor down at the base and not climb up to the ruins of one of the most valuable, most important Cathar strongholds, So
Very
it's
cool.
going to be amazing. Very excited. And to do the clearings that are necessary, like for the land, for ourselves. We're also going to be doing like telepathy exercises, and practicing our telepathy. Like, how well can we actually communicate without saying anything, and being in that kind of field with the whole group. Yeah. What was your favorite part about France last time?
There's so many spots. Honestly, I just loved every bit of it because every place we went to was so special and unique. I loved Camargue, and being able to go on the beach. That horseback ride we did was amazing. And I really loved climbing up. I mean, I know it was a challenge. It was a hell of a walk up that hill.
The first day, the hike straight
yes.
up.
I mean, we first day we walked up. It felt like a monastery in Tibet, considering how high we climbed.
A great way to initiate us into.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was amazing though. We all nailed it, and it was just beautiful. And then I don't know, going to Carcassonne was really special, even though it was in a way like cathartic, but not even trying to be cathartic. Get it? Didn't even realize I said it. So, and then it was also a bit emotionally staggering because I didn't realize how much healing I still had to do from that. And you don't realize until you're in it, when you're going through the healing process, of what you're releasing. And that was one of the biggest releases of my life, being able to just clear all that, because I have so much history in France. And then, I mean, all of it was just amazing. I enjoyed every single day that we had there. There wasn't a single day that I would take back and redo in a different way, because I just loved every minute of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
France is special. I mean, even the gas stations are incredible. Like, I went into that one gas station and I'm like,
she came out with a box of patisserie.
No, that was the tourist to France.
And we
gas station.
Yeah,
it was the fanciest desserts I'd ever seen in my life, and I was like, we all just split it. We all were like taking bites from it in the car, like sharing it around, passing the box to the back. But that's what I mean. It's just, I just love everything about France.
We lived off of charcuterie. Like, that's the great thing, is like being in southern France. It's like tapas. We're so close to Spain. It's just part of the culture in that area of just like, whew. Kat wants to know if I wanted to go to France, but can I go for the full 11 days? Can I come for a few? Actually, Vicky is not able to come for the full 11 days. So she's coming for 7, and that is totally an option. The answer is yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I would love it if you came, Kat. That'd be so cool.
Oh man.
Have Merlin with her.
Ooh. All right.
In Dragon Country, could you imagine?
Stand back. Oh my God. We are on fire. This is some holy fire. Holy moly. Yeah, that would be phenomenal.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out, Charisse. I'm enjoying the conversation. I didn't even notice that. Love you, Kat. Love it if she came with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ray says, wear blue lapis. You got this. Blue lapis is amazing. Lapis lazuli is phenomenal crystal.
Do you remember that giant lapis that I got specifically for it was too heavy to wear. I got this, like, I went and I saw Kayla Clausen, right? She lives here in Boulder, and we had a meetup before we went. She gave me a crystal of hers to take with me and plant somewhere. And then I also like saw this lapis that had Mary, like it literally has an image of Mary in the stone. I was like, oh my God, I can't leave without this. And it's like, like around my neck. It's like 5 pounds.
Boulder around your neck.
You know? Yeah, I need to stay grounded. Keep the throat open. Oh, yeah. So
I've had a real kick for lapis lately. In fact, I've had this since last night, just sitting here. I've been kind of clearing with it. This is Michelle. She made a beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? That's all lapis in there. I know. Michelle's organite is insane, isn't it? That
totally insane.
So if you guys haven't got any organite from Michelle House yet, you really need to. I mean, look at that. Incredible.
That's phenomenal.
I love the way that she did the eyes as well. Like, it's just so cool. So yeah, lapis is one of those crystals that has been highly revered since before ancient Egypt. I mean,
days in Kemet.
Powerful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've been working with it for a long time. Yay. Yay, Michelle. I love it. That's what's so amazing. This community is so amazing. I've also been, I did a trade with Amanda Stevens, and she's like, what shirt do you want? What mug do you want? And I'm like, here, you need a dragon activation. You get a dragon activation. You get a dragon activation. And then she's like, go look at my Etsy, and I'm like, oh my God. Well, I have to have the matching Ankh mug. I was like, I saw your mug. This is Laura on it with the Eye of Horus and the.
Yes.
Like,
I love that. I took that to Scotland with me and used it every day. I love that mug. It's great.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
We totally should have like a little shop on some of these websites for people. You guys make some of the coolest stuff. We just love it.
Yeah, wonderful.
Ooh, yes. Larimar is also very popular. I'm wearing my Larimar today, Erin.
Larimar is so powerful.
Wearing hers.
So important. It's fire and ice. Larimar,
yes.
Fire and ice energy. Yeah.
What's your favorite crystal? Which one do you use the most?
Oh gosh, the most? I mean, I always just revert to clear quartz. I have so many star seeds,
I've always got my clear quartz, my fancy clear quartz next to me.
Yeah. And
it's not the size that matters; it's what you do with it, Erin.
Yeah, they're all here. They're all here. See, this is just I don't know why. It's just quartz and two of these. This was the first Lemurian quartz that was given to me.
Lemurian. What makes the crystal so unique? I see the striations. You guys can kind of see the striations.
So the striations are data. And so you're meant to actually rub your thumb over the striations. Not every part is going to have the striations. This one does, except for where it's broken here. But the striations are data. This is and I'm actually curious if what crystal, I'm pretty sure it's quartz that Carolyn is always working with. I know that when she's in mediumship, right, she has her crystal like this. I'm like, I wonder if that's a Lemurian, and she's rubbing that data. But yeah, these are all just filled with data. Those striations that you see, that's information. And these are from Lemuria. This is ancient information from Lemuria. And so, yeah, this is my laser, right? Fits perfectly in my hand use this for cord cutting when I'm working with people in person.
Yes. Yeah. Cord cutting is very important for healing. Yes.
Yes. So I actually somebody asked me the other day what my sessions actually entail. And I realized that I don't think I've ever, at least not on here, fully explained what happens in my sessions. Yeah. So, when people work with me, the first thing that we always do is open the Akashic records. Right. Mm-hmm. And actually, before we do that, I do a clearing because I can't. I can't look at your records unless I know that you're sovereign, and I'm not going to, right? Unless I
It's like
know that
trying
you're
to paint
sovereign.
a picture with a dirty brush. You're gonna have all kinds of shit in there you don't want. You need to cleanse it and
Well,
start fresh.
even like not even that. Thank you, Charisse. Not even that. It's I can't see anything. If you're not sovereign, the records don't show anything because it's dangerous to open your records if you have attachments. You don't want those beings having access to your records. Your records are vulnerable when they're open, which is why I create a really strong container as well, calling in protectors, master teachers, higher self, Rumara, my dragon, etc. And, and your benevolence, your guides, your benevolent ancestors. And so so making sure that you're sovereign, taking care of that, opening your Akashic records, and whatever questions or whatever reason that has brought you to do this session with me, answering those questions or helping you with that that revelation. And in that, we're going to come upon what past life resonances are affecting you, right? All of the things that are coming to the surface, right? Whether that's positive or negative, right? We're going to speak to that and alchemize it. So I'm trained as a hypnotherapist, as a spiritual alchemist, and my training is to work just using the divine light to tend to those resonances that are coming forward, going quantumly to the source of, maybe it's a vow, maybe it's a curse, maybe it's a really big belief that you've been carrying, your whole life, that's been shaping your whole life. It's literally written the narrative, and so we can kind of hack the system, not have to do past life regression in order to get there. We can just step there quantumly and bring the divine light there. So there's that. There's past life regression that we can do so that you can have that cathartic direct experience of the healing, that really is, on the broader scale, bringing you back to compassion and forgiveness and unconditional love surrounding whatever the pain is, and that's what alchemizes the pain. As well as communicating with the body. So if you have chronic issues, chronic pain, or emotional issues, we communicate with the body and do somatic alchemy, bringing you the energy that you're craving, that you're looking for outside of yourself. Like, that's the thing, is that we're always looking outside of ourselves for what we need, not realizing that it's our responsibility actually to give it to ourselves. And we have that ability to give it to ourselves. And so that's what I facilitate. That's what I hold space for.
They're always telling us to go within.
Totally. And to, help going within, I'll hold your hand while you go within so that it's not scary, like, I am a really safe person, right? Like, I'm one of those people that I am the shoulder that people come to cry on, for strangers, right? That cry to me, right? And, and they're just like, I don't know why, I just feel so safe, or I feel comfortable, or I feel this mother energy. I'm like, yeah, I am the priestess of the divine mother, so that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and of course, Rumara shows up. So the dragon shows up where needed. If there's, she works with healing the DNA and providing also that quantum Akashic information. Also, the halls of Amenti are now available to me. I passed some test a few years ago, and the guardians of the halls, the Great White Brotherhood, came forward and said, you can now access the halls of Amenti. It kind of depends on the client as well, but yeah.
Wonderful. Natalie says, yes, that's what I love about past life regression. I like the depth of the aha moment it brings.
Yeah. It's powerful. Yeah. And that's why, like, my dad, Greg McHugh, who's, he's a master hypnotherapist. And when I talked about how I was kind of hacking the process because I had this quantum access with my gifts, and he's like, Okay, well, just remember that that first person experience is really valuable, like, yes, yes, I understand, but we're still healing. We're still healing on the soul level, whether or not you have that, direct experience.
And so
Yes.
many of us are having a lot of these, it's almost like this rapid advancement course, spiritually
Yeah.
wise, because a lot
Yeah.
of these things used to take years to develop, and now all of a sudden it's like this quickening. It's helping people. We're going through a lot more in
Right.
shorter periods of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Tess. I've been working with Tess and Sharon and their two sons. Yeah, since October, I believe. Since they were the first ones actually when I was doing the beta sessions with Rumara. They're like, "Oh yeah, we'll try that." So they were really helpful. They're like my family now. That's like what happens after we worked together for a while and working on a lot of chronic conditions for Tess that have cleared up, that have either gone into remission or just completely disappeared, with the help of Rumara. And these have very specifically been Rumara alchemy sessions. Yeah. Thank you, Tess. Yay.
Well, we're transmuting all kinds of things. We're all kind of learning to be alchemists right now in a way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you're here for
Abs-
the 5D shift, you're an alchemist. You are alchemizing all that low frequency energy into positive high frequency energy.
right. Right. And also, turning there really is this thing. I love this, when people I see this commonly. People are like, oh, if you send me negative energy, I alchemize that and turn it into prosperity. Whenever somebody says something about me, I get money from it. Like, this is a new concept to me. Like, oh, okay, that's
It's
interesting,
like when they say there's no such thing as bad publicity.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Huh.
even the supposed bad publicity is going to be good publicity to some people
Right.
because you can
Well,
never
somebody's
please
talking about
everybody.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like it's an orientation within yourself. It's like a statement to the universe, that well, I trust. My statement to the universe is that whatever comes up, whatever comes forward is healing. It serves my highest good. So even if it's traumatic, even if it feels like something that was here to bring me down or hurt me in some way, no, I'm going to rise up even higher from it because I'm a phoenix, right? And I also am here to receive the healings that are meant for me. So even if it's painful, even if it feels like it's you know shaking my foundation, it's so that I can find out where the weak points are in my foundation and I can have better boundaries and I can move forward in a better way, knowing where I had weaknesses before that I needed to come into compassion for myself and heal. And now I know better, you know? Yeah.
Oh, beautifully said. Setting boundaries is very important right now because there's a lot of, as I call them, they're like crabs in the bucket, where
Mm,
you're trying to raise your vibration, you're trying to leave all the bullshit behind, and then there's crabs that are like, "No, come back here," and they try to pull you back down. So,
totally. Yeah. I can appreciate that. Yeah. And and hopefully those individuals that are trying to pull you down or trying to, create drama around you, that they're able to learn from that experience as well and own whatever it is that's working through them, that shadow or whatever that thing is. It's no, I need you down here with me. Maybe that experience itself can be a teaching experience for them, in your compassion for them, like, nope, you don't get to pull me down. You can come up here. You want to come up here? Here, how about I'll reach down and you can come up. That's better. That's better.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a better idea.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because honestly, I feel like things are happening so rapidly. Even the soul guides are kind of, in a way, slightly unprepared because they don't know which way things are going to move. We keep jumping timelines like crazy. We keep making leaps forward that they weren't expecting. And so it's like even the soul guides themselves are a bit like blown away by how far we've come in such a short period of time.
That's fantastic. Gold star. Yeah, that's awesome. It's, it's a lot of work, and I am still getting to know. I had Irma come to me in the middle of winter, and it kind of had a traumatic experience in order for them to show themselves, and I still haven't figured out how to work with them yet. So I'm looking forward to the next piece of the SRT training to be like, okay, I know that you're here. How are we going to do this? Yeah. Because I know how like Rumara deals with things. If she needs to be gentle, she'll be gentle. But if there are reptilians, she will just come and gobble them up and take them back to source. And she'll just, you know? Yeah, like, oh, okay. That's one way to do it, I suppose. He had never seen that before. Yeah, yeah.
I imagine
What
they don't
do
taste very
the
good. Like a hippo.
Ramona
Like I'll eat you if I have to, but I'm spitting you out.
Yeah, she's like, "They don't taste good, don't worry," She's like, "I have to cleanse myself afterwards." Fly back in my own flames, Yeah. Yeah, she's not destroying them, she lets Source deal with them. She's just kind of holding them,
That's
Yeah.
my attitude too. Come back as an amoeba. Like you got to
Have
start
an
over
easier time. Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Come back with a better attitude.
totally,
Because I'm
totally,
so
yeah.
over it. I really am, especially the Lizzies. They're everywhere right now. I don't think I've ever seen so many reptilians around right now. And I think it's because of how desperate they're getting.
Sure. Well, there is this aspect that they've been in the planet, right, under the
Yeah.
surface of the planet for tens of thousands of years. So some of them are like, well, we were
Find
here
their
first.
tunnels all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
Fucking churches, funnily enough. That's where
Oh.
their entrances are. So many entrances in churches. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know why that is?
They have similar vibration.
Well, the church is controlled by the
Really?
Dracos.
I
The
mean, look at
Vatican is
it's
controlled by the
everywhere.
Dracos. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's been something that ever since working with Rumara, working with the dragons, which I just have to say, I was not obsessed with dragons. Like, like I have always been like, yeah, dragon's cool, just whatever, and then of course this whole thing happens. And now I'm like, okay, dragons everywhere. Oh my God. But the working, now I forgot what I was going to say.
Dragons everywhere.
I totally forgot it. It'll come
Kevin
back.
said, let Godzilla deal with them.
Oh my goodness. Has it always been controlled by them, or did things change at some point?
I think they've always been
Let's remember that the Catholic Church existed before Christ existed. Okay?
Yeah.
That means that they were, thank you, Natalie, they were already in the agenda of finding a control mechanism to control the population. So, all of these, veins of control, the different sects even have kind of just like lesser levels. I guess it's like the pure, straightforward, like straight up Catholicism that is like the pure vein of it, but it's really the Jesuits. Okay. So, just having that awareness that there was already something set up to control the masses, and then they used this drama with who they chose the Messiah, right, to be, because of his power, because of his self-awareness, that they were able to use him as an avatar for their organization, right?
Oh yeah, everybody talks about the Pope and all these very powerful people. The Pope's soul left ages ago. He's a walk-in, but a dark walk-in. They body snatch every single one of those people, or they wouldn't put them in power in the first place. That's why they're in power,
Right.
is because they have a powerful entity attached to them, and it's the entity that is calling the shots and running the show, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've done this forever, though. This is normal. I mean, look, they've done it with royalty. They've done it with politicians. Every time I've cleared 3 judges now, and every single one of them had a big Draco on them. Every single
Of
one.
course. Of
In fact, we
course.
found a level 4 Draco on one of them. Good thing we caught him with his pants down, or he would have given us a run for our money. He
Oh my
didn't
goodness.
see us coming. We entered him. As Kat said, we gophered him real quick. We just popped up and yoinked his ass, basically. But this is the thing. They're everywhere. They're all over the place right now. And if you have a position of power, they're going to try and subjugate you to get that power.
They're going to tempt you. They're going to show you how much better your life can be if you make this agreement, or if you help us out, or if you do what we say, all of the things. Heads in the root chakras. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. So it does feel like a revelation. I also saw at one point, and this, I saw at one point this huge concentration of control over the British Empire by the reptilians. So, we have the Vatican City, London City, and Washington, D.C., right? These are the 3.
One controls the religious, one controls the financial, the other controls the military. And then there's other areas that have even more of these aspects, like Palestine, for example, where they have basically taken over the entire area. So they can do whatever they want.
Well, they're all like what people don't realize is the multidimensional aspect of the power of the Sinai Desert and the whole area, right? There's one of the most valuable stargates. What is it, 7 or 8? I can't remember which one it is.
It's a doozy, though.
It's, like that's what the wars have been over, is actually control of this stargate by the reptilians. So it's
also bunkers and all kinds of stuff that they're looting.
And talk about tunnels. Oh my God.
Yeah, the tunnels are everywhere.
Oh my God.
This whole planet is Swiss fucking cheese. It really is. The amount of tunnels we find in the weirdest locations, too.
Rumara said last week that there are more beings inside the planet than there are on the surface.
Yeah.
So we have what, 8 billion souls on the surface that we know about.
I wouldn't exactly say souls. We have 8 billion people.
Bodies.
On this planet. We have 8 billion bodies on this planet. Not all of them are occupied, if you know what I mean.
Totally.
There's a lot of NPCs here. Yeah, and the guides are saying that is one of the perks of the 5D shift, is that you are actually going to see less NPCs. As we uptick in frequency, the NPCs are going to start disappearing.
Because they're not there. Yeah. Good point. Good point.
I'm so sick of crap.
So the cube, the black cube, represents the cult of
for many years.
Oh, really?
The Ark of Gabriel was under there. They only moved it in, what was it, 2023, I think it was. Whenever they had that big crane incident. Did you hear about the crane incident?
At Mecca?
Yeah. There was a crane incident. It killed 111 people. 111. When they tried to move the Ark of Gabriel underneath that cube, that's when the crane, it had some kind of electromagnetic defense system to it, and it pulled that whole thing down, pulled down the whole crane, and it killed all those people. It was very sad. But that's when they moved it to Antarctica, according to the Pleiadians.
Right.
So
well, I think it's
stuff like that.
They're always pulling shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. Moving artifacts and doing all kinds, opening portals. We found so many sky portals recently, it's unbelievable. So, yep.
Yeah. That's really fascinating. And there's tomfoolery, right? It's like trying to remove things are placed in specific positions on purpose, right? For maintaining the inverted grid, right? So in maintaining the false light grid, but then the angelics also have things in place to maintain the true earth grid, right? To help us anchor these higher consciousnesses, right? And so there is a lot of fuckery with these factions, right? That say, oh no, this cannot be a hotspot, this cannot be a pillar of light right here. We need to remove Gabriel's light from this place, no matter who suffers from it, right? No matter the casualties, and that's the thing. That's why so much is kept from us with, in Antarctica, is because it's easier to control the airspace, control the land space, and just say no. Interestingly enough, many years ago, I was in a Santo Daime ceremony that is like the Brazilian ayahuasca church. It's kind of like Catholic church, but with
I've heard of
ayahuasca.
it, yeah.
I was a member for 8 years.
Isn't that by that guy that was friends with Oprah? What's his name?
Oh no, hell no.
Okay, I was gonna say
he's Brazilian. That's John of God. We can talk about that. But that is not. That is also Brazilian, but that's John of God.
It's not the same church. Okay.
Not,
I don't know about that. That's why I wanted to double check.
Don't worry, it didn't get personal or anything. No, I actually applaud myself for my spidey sense around John of God, of just being like, I don't know about that guy, right? I don't know about what he's doing. Anyway, so I was and this was outside of Denver, and there was a man that was there that was just fucking shrouded. Just darkness all around him. And he was sitting across from me. We have women sit on one side and the men sit on the other side, which can be a little because you have to just see what other people are going through, right? Like we're drinking plant medicine. There's a lot that's going on. And this guy was just covered, and not my job to do anybody's spiritual work for them. I just protected myself, And so then I was meeting him after the ceremony and talking to him. And he says, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to be going to Antarctica for 6 months. I leave tomorrow. Like, oh, well, what are you doing down there? Oh, I can't talk about it. Yeah. And so I'm just I'm sitting next to this guy and feeling the energies that did not leave from the massive light that was cultivated in the ceremony, right? Those entities were still there. And I could just feel this energy that was like, don't ask any more questions. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to ask any more questions. But I could just feel the nefarious agenda, that whether or not he was even aware of it, there was it kind of just felt like he was being used, and I think that's
everybody in that
massively, what's happening down there.
Yeah. I had one client that was booked by someone else, and I don't think this other person knew about what the things that he was getting involved in. Because there were the things that I found attached to him could only have been attached, I think, if he was a Manchurian candidate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. The way that his brain was split, and the way that, I really do feel like there are people out there that don't even know who they are or what they've been through. There's been so much brainwashing that has occurred. Yeah. I don't think this person even realized that they were a Manchurian candidate, because, when we go through the brainwashing, it was like he was like, it's like you take a subconscious and then you split it into 4 sections and you don't let those 4 sections communicate anymore.
Oh, this is
yeah. And it's like you have the one personality that's at the forefront, and then you have the one that's in the back that only comes out when triggered.
Yeah. So Jessica's asking what a Manchurian candidate is, and she's kind of describing it right now. It's where it is a mind control program where they are, basically severing your consciousness in different ways. And through actually hypnosis, they can activate, through keywords, they can activate the different aspect that has been trained to do something. Yes, yeah. Manchurian. There's a very famous old movie. They did a remake of it, but it's not good as the original one. But a Manchurian candidate is like a politician that has been put in place in order to do the dark work of the deep state, we'll say. And they don't know it until, so a particular trigger,
What
that
was that
comes
one
from.
movie that just popped into my head with Bruce Willis? Conspiracy Theory. You ever see that back in the day?
Oh yeah. No, it wasn't
Wasn't
Bruce
that
Willis.
good?
It was Mel Gibson. Mel
Mel
Gibson.
Gibson, that's the one. Yes,
Yes.
Mel Gibson. That was a
Yeah.
really good movie. But
That
that
was a
was a
very
Manchurian Candidate. That guy had no idea that he was actually like a brainwashed soldier.
right.
And even
Right.
though he was paranoid and everybody thought he was nuts, he was actually, extremely intelligent and capable. It's just that they really severed his brain in so many different ways. And the human mind is very fragile.
Yes.
So there's all kinds of interesting things that will occur with hypnosis. And the government knows how to really do all of the negative stuff to you that, they've been doing stuff since like the 50s, experimenting on people.
Right. Right. Yeah.
There was that one study that they did. I don't even know how they got this declassified, but they went to a madam somewhere. There was I think it was in Vegas or something, and they started sniffing all the Johns that would come there for hookups with LSD.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So you would come to hook up, and then you get your drink spiked with LSD, and you start acting out in certain ways. And this was a CIA study.
Oh my gosh.
The CIA were dosing people without any warning and then basically recording all the shit that happened. And all of this get declassified like 20 years ago. And we're still allowing them to continue. I mean, the things that they have done, the Tuskegee experiments, for example, like there's so much that they got away with. It blows my mind.
Even, even beyond, like, it just feels like what Mr. Gates is out there doing, experimenting on, in developing countries. It's like almost like this same kind of, I get to do whatever I want kind of a thing, just like the CIA does. They do whatever they want, and then they tell you about it later. It's like, don't ask permission. It's just apologize for your actions later. I'm like, no, we need to actually have informed consent.
From now, what they've been doing today,
Oh,
this
totally.
is what they do.
Yeah, and Emmy says, well, was 2020 a big, hypnosis thing? And absolutely. Well, it's sorcery.
It was
right?
a test also to see how complacent we would be.
Exactly.
How much we would go along with it, if we would fight back against anything they do to us. They do that all the time.
Right. Right.
Just to test our response to see how we're going to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that we're in a very fast evolution right now, and especially what's happening here in the United States, that there's they're pumping up the civil unrest so that they can enforce more control over the people, right? Like, this is always the plan.
Problem,
right?
reaction.
Exactly. The Hegelian dialect. What is it called? Is that what it's called? Where they create the problem where they already have the solution, and then you accept. Yeah. I think it's called, yeah. So there's definitely that, but I'm just amazed that there are still people who are still getting the JAB, and why? When there's so much information around it, you're still just continuing with that program.
Fear. Fear sells. Fear porn is a big thing right now. And if people, that's why people love horror movies so much. They like to be scared.
Yeah.
And so because it's an adrenaline rush, you get a kick from it. So it is unfortunate that so many people are led in that way.
Right.
That are able to be fooled in that way. But not everybody.
Not everybody.
This is why they're trying to keep an eye on those who are not falling for the bullshit, and why many of them will end up on a list somewhere. So I've been on a list for 25 years nearly. It's a compliment at this point.
Well, I gotta say that I did experience a governmental attack for the first time because of, something that I was made aware of. I guess, in the Rumara circle, we saw something happen. There was an attack on New Zealand And so we followed it, we traced it. They tried to scramble the trace.
Oh, I
And
remember that. Yes.
yeah,
We
we were
got asked to scramble it.
directed to somewhere in Siberia, and then no, that's not right. But we got the link and brought to a building in Germany, and then there were these two shadow beings that said nope, absolutely not. And then they sent a Lizzie after me, and
That was a big one too.
it was a big one. Thank you for your immediate response. And I said something is
Like,
wrong.
So we see what the class are like. What did you do?
All I did was trace the bad light, mommy. All I did was, could see the big black line just kind of bouncing all over.
This is why, and I've had this conversation before, but I'll say it again. Like, don't bite off more than you can chew with this work. You got to be really careful. The guides will tell you, don't follow those breadcrumbs. They don't lead you anywhere nice.
Yeah. I learned my lesson, mommy. I swear that I did.
There's a couple times where I'm like, can we do this? And Zach's like, absolutely not. Damn.
Yeah. Beware of government.
You got to make sure that you know what you're doing before you go getting your neck involved in.
Or if you, don't follow the big black line. Just do whatever you can right where it's landed and leave it at that. Create that obsidian protection and move on. Yeah. Well, I've one of my closest girlfriends is an MK Ultra survivor. She's also a survivor of 20 and back. And, so I've been observing her being under, government attack for decades, and what that's like, and seeing a remote viewer watching her. She asked me to, check in on her and what was happening. And I saw a man at a desk facing the wall with a manila envelope and her picture there. And I was like, there's a guy and he's watching you. He didn't see me. Thankfully, he didn't see me. You know what I mean? But
was he wearing a trench coat and a funny looking hat?
No, he was wearing the like green fatigues. He was in army.
Oh yeah, they've got psychic soldiers out there, big ones. But we probably shouldn't be talking about this on Facebook.
Yeah, I know. We should probably change the subject.
If Amma was here right now, she'd be like, you know better. No, unfortunately, the more you are hyper aware of certain things, it does kind of put you in the crossroads. So you don't really want to be on their radar.
Right.
So we do operate these things. As Chen put it once, keep your head in the trench. They're just sticking your head out of the trench.
As soon as you stick your head up. Yeah. Have your gun with the hat and see what happens. It
cracks me up too, because Kat for years was working solo, and she said exactly today. She's like, "How come I deal with so many bad attacks working solo?" And he's like, "Because you're basically an interdimensional gopher." She's like, "What?" And he's like, "You pop up, attack, and then you disappear again before they can get you."
Wow.
So we all have to be interdimensional gophers now. They don't need to know where we're coming from, where we're gonna hit. Guerrilla warfare is the most effective, as they say. So we have to fight dirty too.
Yeah. And that is something that happens. Like if you schedule, a clearing, it is common that people that come to me for clearings, that they have all kinds of shit that tries to get them to reschedule or cancel their appointment, or or something happens with the technology, things aren't working, and it's like, oh no, you're not going to stop this from happening. They try to pull all the stops to try and
the train is already rolling
their meal. Yeah. Can't
Teresa
stop us.
Says, reminder, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Yes, it is.
The more you know. Interdimensional lemur. I don't know. That's no. We're not following each other off the cliffs over here.
That's a lemming, not a lemur.
Oh, yes, lemmings. Those are different.
Uh,
Yeah.
we're gonna
But
have
it's
so
all,
much fun
it's
in
good.
France. I can't wait. We
Oh
get to
my
have all
gosh.
these conversations, and we'll put a big bubble around us so nobody's gonna hear it. We'll put a big,
Yes.
you
And you
know.
know what I noticed, actually, the house that we're staying in, uh, on the Mediterranean has checkerboard flooring. So I'm like, okay, we have black and white checkerboard flooring. Okay, who built this house? I think that there's going to be some massive clearings that we're going to do before we get to this house,
Oh yeah.
and just seal off whatever has been laid in this foundation. But that refers to the black cube. Those of you that know about the black cube and the Freemasons and everything, the checkerboard flooring can be a dead giveaway as to what energy you are entering into. So I
Mark.
realized that after the fact. What's,
Just
what's
laughing
that?
at Margaret's comment. Interdimensional honey badger.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah,
fierce. Oh my
now
god, honey
we're talking.
badgers. Now we're talking. Yeah,
Now we're talking.
they will fuck you up. Those honey badgers. They are no joke. Yeah, totally.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it
So
was really good hanging out with you today, Erin. Thank
yes,
you. You
love
want to
it.
drop your goodies so people can hear? Let's see. We've got the divinesinging.com website for those of you
Yes.
who are interested in signing up for the Magdalene mentorship or one of our amazing trips, which the next one will be France.
Yeah, so France, yeah, there's the page for whatever retreat is is happening at the time. So right now it's France. That's from September 1st to through the 11th. It's going to be fucking amazing, and really, opening up all of the ways if it feels like, oh, I need to do a payment plan and I don't know, if I can, afford this or whatever. I'm totally open to payment plans that extend past the trip if that's what's needed. We're also open to having a helper in the kitchen that can have a discount if that's something that that helps you to join us. If you feel the big call, we do still have that position available. And and just really follow your heart. There are things that we are drawn to that we shut down because of our mindset of limitation. And if you're meant to be there, miracles will occur for you and it will happen, and I know that for the length of this trip, for a 10-day retreat, usually would be $5,000 or $6,000, and because I did that research and compared to see what other, Magdalene pilgrimages look like and what they cost. And this $3,600 is what I'm asking for this, which is just only, a little bit above cost, that is just paying for mostly just for our time of preparing the whole thing, and us being your lovely leaders.
Ariana had a quick question. Erin, I know you talked about hijack symbols once. Can we get the intention? Can we set the intention to change what the symbol means if we don't want to use the flower of life, for example?
Can you change what the flower of life represents
What
for
it
you?
represents for you, I guess. Like, let's
Well,
say there's
here's
a symbol you like, but it may be a negative symbol. Can you transmute it or alchemize that energy into something more positive?
I mean, you certainly can, for yourself. The thing to remember about the flower of life is how it is being used against you. So it has a certain geometry that's built into it that is it's a repeated pattern. So like Lara talks about death loops, right? The flower of life that that has been curated by popular culture and that you see all over spiritually based, material, that is the false version. It's actually referred to as the daisy of death, because that creates an energetic loop that keeps you turned back in. And if you see that circle around the outside, it's an imprisonment symbol. And the true flower of life is actually like it comes out of the same oh gosh, what is I want to say it's 33 degrees. But I can show you an image as well. If you look at like the foo dogs in Cambodia, right? They have their foot over it, right? So that is a symbol of control. And you can put any of your energy that you want. If you want this symbol to change for you, first of all, you have to take the circle that encloses it off. Right? So there is this realization also that it does exist in nature, right? If you look at the cut of a DNA, that Vesica Pisces, it exists naturally in nature, but it is not part of the fractal universe. It's not part of the golden ratio. And so it is a mechanism of control. If you see all of the smart cities of where they're putting up the 5G towers, they create this daisy of death. So they're all put into the cross points to create the electromagnetic pattern of the daisy of death, so in order to control. So smart cities are about controlling the populace, controlling the information, and using your bodies and your biofield for that Internet of Things. And so that is the harnessing of the daisy of death. This is why it is this imprisonment energy. I
guess it depends on what frequency, that it's like when you design something, when you create something, you imbue it in with your frequency too. So let's say that you are drawing a certain, symbol, you can imbue that symbol with your own intention and energy as well. Like if you were to create a painting, for example, with a certain symbol in it. Mm-hmm. So you can imbue something with your energy and your intention, no matter what you're creating. So that is also why I don't make orgonite when I'm in a bad mood either, because when you're using something, when you're creating something, you have to be in a good mood while you're creating it. Otherwise, you're going to end up, in a way, you could even curse something that you're creating. We found that out. There's several things that found in people's houses that were created with slave labor. Even something as silly as, a kitchenware, you don't realize that this that you're using every day to flip pancakes with was cursed by the slave person that made it in the first place.
Oh my gosh.
It's a big issue with how, food too, your food that's being made, like, so your energy and intention goes into everything that you create. This is why they say mom's food tastes the best, because mom's love goes into the food.
Right. Yeah. So, I'm just going to show you this. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see if this works. I want to show this one.
I have been getting really into symbols though lately, I must say.
So can you see now?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. So you can see like this circle on the outside, that is the element of imprisonment. If you could think of this even in 4D, this is the torus, right? This is the toroidal field. This is the 0 point energy at the center of your being, right? This is the true flower of life. And so what's here, this is a building block, right? This is upon which you can build things. You can, this is, also cell division, right? But it is closed source, right? This is open source. This is continual creation, continual revelation, and this is limited. And so that's all it is, right? You're just going from unlimited growth, unlimited light to that which is being held in. And everybody has been, it's been, harnessed, right, as an energetic in order to control the new age reality, so it can be difficult also to to receive this, especially if you love it or you have it tattooed on your body. One of my best friends has it tattooed on her body. And so, in that sense, you do have power over what that energy generates for yourself. But just important to know that en masse, this is not a helpful symbol. And if you see any organization that is using it for their symbol, I would just question that and ask them what they know about it, and it's just part of the,
what they're
no.
using. People kind of,
Yeah. And even you guys, listen, the peace sign is an inversion of the rune of protection. Just take that in, okay? The peace sign is not here to spread peace. It's to take away your personal protection. Okay? So Angie, what you can do with your, it's like don't fret because whatever you have that has this symbol on it, you have control over. You have control over the energy that it holds and that it generates, right? And so in that experience, like especially using your singing bowl, that's purified. Right, the sound, the healing sound of the singing bowl is changing the energy of that symbol, right? And you do have plenty of power within yourself to say, this means this, right? To me, it doesn't matter what it means to other people. It doesn't matter what corruption is trying to be inlaid in it. Whenever I touch this symbol, whenever I look at this symbol, I imbue freedom. I imbue openness. I imbue infinite possibility, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Beautifully said, darling. There's a type of organite I saw recently. You guys ever heard of the Taurus organite? Taurus?
Well, is that with having the copper?
Yeah, but the reason
Tesla
I'm mentioning
coil in it,
funnily enough, is that it's got your symbol. It's got the one you're talking about on it, and it's one of the most interesting things, because if they hold something up to it, it actually jumps all over the place
because it creates an energy field. It's creating an electromagnetic field in the spiral. It's creating the vortex, because that symbol, this is what we hold in our bodies. This is how you can know that the crystal with a K, the crystalline flower of life, that is also reflective of the Venusian star, right? That star that is formed by the 8-year cycle of Venus in the sky, is also part of this symbol. So, hi Roya. So we have this in our bodies. That's how you can trust it, is because this is what happens with our magnetic fields, is that we are the ones creating infinite spin up and down, while the Taurus field and our telluric field, and combined with the telluric field of the earth, we are creating this flow. And so if we're tuned in, then that vortex can spin faster. And I've started showing more, some exercises that you can do to activate your electromagnetic field or activate your biofield, because y'all, Wi-Fi, right? They're hijacking our electromagnetic field. This is why you're tired all the time. It's not just because you're on electricity or that there's 5G poles. It's that actually, yeah. Yep.
Look at that.
Yeah.
You recognizing something?
Yeah. So these are Tesla coils. And the Tesla coils, these are awesome because they make orgonite within them, and then they actually have to file down around the coils so that they're accessible. But even if they were completely covered in orgonite, it'll still work. But they're connecting it to electricity, right? So they're on and they're working because they're also wired to electricity. And this is also how you make a cloud buster. And the most powerful cloud buster that you can make is if you actually put a Tesla coil in it and then you plug it in, right? Then oh, I love that, Kat. The message that's really coming through right now is do not box yourself in. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is also why I try to move outside of talking about chakras and just referring to your energy centers, right? Because the chakra itself is a limit. It's a wheel that is here it's kind of a locking mechanism to say, okay, we're going to hold this energy here, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, right? So that is actually a limiting system. But if you can just kind of step outside of that and not give it too much energy, yeah, you can refer to your chakras, they're there, but the chakras are actually placed over your energy centers, which are infinite. So there is no limit on your field when you can just shift away from these, these subliminal paradigms that are keeping us, uninformed, right? Keeping us manipulated, creating more chaos, keeping you out of your center. But if you can come back and rub your heart center, tap your heart center, breathe into your energy field. So you breathe into the center of your heart and then you push the energy out, like literally, energetically, and physically. And as I do that, I'm pulling my belly in and I'm forcing the energy from my tailbone up my spine. And I can feel tingles traveling up my spine, up to my crown. I can feel my heart opening. And then I also start to get chills because my electromagnetic field is activating, it's getting bigger, and it's becoming more faster. It's moving faster, right? So these are things that we have to be taking back the power of our biofield so that it's not being constantly hijacked and used against our will. Sabrina Wallace is the woman who is kind of outing all of this information. You will not find her in particular on Facebook or in this medium, but you will find people who are posting her stuff. And she's the only one out there that's trying to explain how our biofields are being used against us. So it's really important to be educating ourselves on this.
As you said that, my ears started ringing so loudly. Holy cow, it was deafening. Okay, heard.
I'm getting the information right now.
Hey, upgrade time. Wow.
I think grounding sheets are great. Grounding is definitely necessary. I started working with earthing.com like 15 years ago when I first got my grounding pack. We had a grounding sheet for a really long time. We used it so much that the kids jumping on the bed tore it. So it's time to buy a new grounding sheet. But my husband has, yes, Tanya Becker is really, she shares a lot of that stuff. There's a couple of them out there that are sharing her stuff. But I used to actually sleep with the thing strapped to my ankle and plugged into the wall so that I would be grounded. But my husband has chronic pain, and so he definitely noticed a huge difference from sleeping on the grounding sheets, that his inflammation went way down and that he had a lot less pain in his body from using grounding sheets. So highly, highly recommend. And go to grounding.com or earthing.com, excuse me. Don't go anywhere else. Okay. Earthing.com is the real deal. There are people out there that make fake shit and it's not
all
cool.
The time.
So, all
Same
the
with
time.
organized. Make sure you get it professionally made. Somebody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it'll be more effective. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. What a great chat today. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure having you around, Erin.
Yeah, it's always fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So you
For
can
those of you
schedule
who
if
are
you want to have. Oh, yeah.
in
Thanks.
the
No, I'm like, this is the final moments. Divinesinging.com. That's my website. It's been posted. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love, doing the revealing work for my friends and clients, Akashic records to the spiritual alchemy and beyond. It's really I had this really awesome affirmation because last fall, or maybe it was in the winter time, I had a session with a woman, and I was really very new to in learning from you, about the Tegetans, about being in pods and all of this stuff. And there was this client that I saw it for the first time, and I was like, you're a Tegetan and you're in a pod and you're in a ship above the planet. And I'd never seen it before, And so it was even like, okay, this is new to me, and I've been doing this for a while, right? And then I saw her again recently, and she said, well, I just want to tell you that I had a session with Adriana, and she saw exactly the same thing that you saw. Yes. It's like, thank you, because I was very curious about if I was really seeing that, or was I seeing that because I had just learned about it and it was available to me now, or, however that happens.
Every single one of us knows at least one pod person, as I call them. They're pod people. My 9-year-old is a pod person. So yeah, they're out there. They're all over the place.
Amazing. I bet Elijah is. I would not put it past my Mr. Elijah. He's pretty amazing. Super psychic already. Pretty fantastic. Both my kids are like, will tell me things that I'm just thinking. I'm like, oh my God, cut it out. The telepathy with
the family business of chasing lizards,
Love
it's
it.
like raising 17 Winchester, we got.
If only they knew how to actually, heal their karma in the same life that they were receiving the karma from being Winchesters. Holy moly.
Wow. That'll be a whole new rabbit hole to go down.
Keith, you can get them from Michelle.
Michelle House makes them. But honestly, the best organ I have ever seen, and you will pay an absolute fortune for it, but it is the best, is from Eye Pyramids. Hang on, I'll share the website with you guys. In fact, you can just check out their YouTube channel. That's what I was just showing you guys, is their YouTube channel. We're talking $200-$300 for a pendant. They're no joke. But
I want one of those copper pyramids with the Tesla coil in it.
Things cost they're like $1,000 from one of these guys. But honestly, if you want legit stuff that is gonna, if you're gonna buy one pendant for your whole life that you're gonna keep forever, and you want to invest in something like that, like if you work at a hospital or something and you need to have that extra boost of protection, I would get there at the Eye Pyramids. I just shared a link to their YouTube channel, and you can see what I mean. They are the highest grade orgonite that I have ever seen on this planet. So, but they charge a pretty penny for it because they know their shit works. But what's interesting is they use your flower of life, the one you were just talking about.
Yeah.
In all their orgonite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's true. Because it's a Tesla coil. It's the Taurus. It's what we are.
I know exactly where I've seen that. That's the version they use.
Yeah.
And that's what if you notice on their videos, they get like everything's jumping around. You can see the actual field that is being created around it.
There's also this guy this is just his handle, his Facebook handle. Napoleon Blown Apart is his name, but he creates Cloudbusters, and he's in Manchester, and he is literally, and he gets helicopters flying over his home because he's clearing the skies that they're constantly spraying over the UK now. And he's literally clearing the skies, and whenever he clears the skies, he always gets a helicopter that's like trying to intimidate him.
But so he can also. Just said Michelle's orgonite works. Tested it on the Rife machine with Bernadette. Very cool. This is what really amazing pyramids like this that you're gonna love. Really, they're just. I love them. As I was saying, I have Michelle's orgonite all over my house. I really do. These little ones.
I love it.
These little ones that you can make a grid out of the little ones. Although my favorite of the small ones are actually the egg-shaped ones. Anybody see those egg-shaped organites? They look like that. They are so great. They're one of the best ones you can get for making a
It's a
grid.
nice pocket organite. Just take it
Isn't
with
it?
you.
So she's got bigger ones too, but you can get some of the smaller ones to make a grid. Put them around your bed, etc. That kind of thing. Put them around your work area. And I love how she's got like the little symbols on the bottom. It's all very cool. It's got lapis as well.
So just to say, so that was just the seed of life on the bottom of that one, right? So and the Triskelion. Do not be afraid of the seed of life. Can you get that pyramid that you just had? It has the beginning of the flower of life, right? This is different. This is the seed of life. This is not the whole symbol that's been corrupted. This is what reflects the birth, right? This is humanity's cell division, etc. So that is positive. That is good.
You know what you could also do? You could also learn how to make your own organite from somebody who really knows, like Reinhard Stanjak. He sells organite training classes. They're $400, but they're very worth it. Yeah, and you could make your own. Yep.
I totally want to make.
You can gift people. In fact, I'm still working on gifts for people. I'm making all kinds of lotuses today and a few other things that I'm making for people. I love making these. You get like a lotus form, and then you put
I could pull mine. I could pull my blue one out.
I love the lotus molds because you can do all kinds of cool stuff on there. So yeah, just experiment and have fun. That's the whole point, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yay. Lots of love, you guys. I gotta go chase beasties in a minute. It was really good hanging out with you all today. Thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure. Love you all so much. And
it's so good to be with you all.
I'll type in the name Reinhard Stanjak.
And if you would like to join the Dragon Circle, you can do that every Thursday. We available on my Patreon. I'll put this here too. It's just for $11 a month. You get to be a part of this weekly circle. And if you are a premium member of Astara, you are welcome to join us every third Thursday. All of our Astara friends are totally welcome. Yes, and I have a podcast also every Thursday at noon Eastern called Enter the Temple, where we, do some practicing. I'm a priestess, and so I love to hold the sacred space and have sacred conversations, more beautiful conversations just like this one that are educational and electrifying also spiritually. So I hope you will join me, also available here on Facebook and YouTube. What'd you say?
It's a very stimulating conversation.
Always.
Love you guys. I hope you have a magical day. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.